Hello and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends series Gamerverse War Machine vs. Omega Red. This is another one of the Gamerverse based 2-packs from Hasbro for the Marvel Legends line. Previously we've had the Psylocke vs. Thanos. There is also a Captain America vs. Venom and a Wolverine vs. Silver Samurai. I haven't pre-ordered or got that one, so I can never quite remember. But yeah, here we have War Machine vs. Omega Red. This is part of the Hasbro Marvel Legends Gamerverse series, and it's based on one of those classic Marvel versus whatever arcade games slash early console games from the 90s, with things like Marvel vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Avengers versus X-Men or whatever. This is one of them here. So like the others in this line, it comes in the purple packaging with the pixelated art on the sides. Window box packaging showing our two figures within with their accessories. The pixelated artwork moves around to the side and we get a profile and a product shot of our figures within. Top, bottom gets our legal, and the back is a posed product shot of our two figures, along with a amusing little cross-sell done as health bars for the other figures in the line. So War Machine vs. Omega Red, Wolverine, Silver Samurai, Psylocke and Thanos. You also get a brief bio up there. There we have it. So without further ado, let's get this pack opened and take a look at our figures within. So this is the first time I've gotten a War Machine in about 20 years, give or take. The last one I got was the Kenner Marvel Legends line figure. So yeah, probably 20 years ago, give or take. The insert in the back is done in one of those sort of video game virtual reality style grids, and then the rest is packaged in that blister card or blister packaging. Let's get our figures, each with a whole load of accessories each. Omega Red comes with a whole bunch of his tendrils. He also comes with two alternate hands, so we are getting a clasping hand, or sort of a reaching hand, and a fist. We get War Machine, with two blasting style hands, rocket launcher, missile, and a blast effects piece. So the blast effects appears to be almost two separate pieces, but they are sort of glued together. It's interestingly done. I like the orange look with the white fade for the blast. There is some holes there. Presumably the holes are if you have a flight stand or something to pose them on. It's a shame that this doesn't actually come with anything. I might have something. I'm going to go see if I can grab it and we'll see if it works. So let me stress, this does not come with the set, but here I have the little stand that came for Baz in the Doctor Strange Wong 2-pack. So yeah, you can see it has got a couple of little peg holes so that if you want the effects pieces in the middle of the battle, you can pose them as such. It's a nice touch. However, I really do wish that this set actually included something to pose the the effects pieces on, because it does feel like a wasted opportunity, especially with something like this, because that's now really low down when this is clearly supposed to be for the rocket launcher, which is going to mount to his shoulder. So we do get the effects piece, which is a nice touch. I just do wish that we had something to stand them on. The missile is done in a red plastic with a yellow paint stripe. Then the two hands do have holes for the standard effects pieces, which come with a lot of the Iron Man figures. The rocket launcher is done in a solid black plastic and will just plug onto the ball joint at the top here, he says. Maybe. There we go. So that will fit on there. And there we have War Machine. So the rocket launcher is on a swivel, which is a nice touch. You can get that moved around and out of the way, and it will twist away around. You can have it as you see fit. The figure itself is done in black with a pearlescent silver blue, which actually looks really, really nice. Very reminiscent of War Machine as he looked in the 90s. Certainly reminds me of the Iron Man cartoon series from that period. But otherwise it does look like he appeared in the games. It's a nice bulky figure. Looks and feels like War Machine should. I really do like the pearlescent metally look on this figure. It's been done really, really well. The shoulder pads are on a little piece of plastic, so they do move out of the way, which should hopefully help with articulation. Articulation wise, the head is on a ball joint, as is the neck, so you can get some real full range of movements there. The rocket launcher, as I pointed out, is on a swivel and is on a ball joint at the peg, so that will move around as you need it to. The effects piece fits in nicely, and missile doesn't, which is a little strange. Given that this is supposed to be the missile, it's a rocket launcher, you would kind of expect that to be able to maybe fit out of there or fit into it some way. It's a weird accessory because the hands won't fit it. There's no way to plug it on. There is definitely no missed stands or anything like that. So it's a weird accessory to have because there is no use for it, which is a little disappointing. But I guess it is what it is. The shoulders are on those standard Marvel ball joints and hinges, so you can get a nice full range of movement there with everything moving as you need it to. All the joints are nice and tight on this. Bicep swivel, double hinge at the elbow, but you won't get a full bend because of his wrist guards. Swivel and rotation at the wrists, and you can swap those out for the alternate hands as you need. Now these hands aren't on swivels, disappointingly, so they will only pose in that blast effects style pose, so that's something to be mindful of. There is a waist swivel and a ab crunch. which is one of the few, the older body molds I'm not a big fan of. I prefer the ball joint, but it doesn't look too bad on the War Machine figure. Leg will go forward that far, won't go back because of the buttocks. There is a calf swivel, double hinge at the knees. Interestingly, there is no pinless arms, but they are pinned at the legs, which seems like a weird choice. No boot cut, which is understandable given the shape and mold of the boots and the fact that the entire bottom leg is that boot. Legs swivel, feet swivel and arch, as you would expect with a standard Marvel Legends figure. It's not a bad figure. I like the look out of it. There just seems to be a few weird choices on Hasbro's part. Having it half pinned and half not pinned seems like a weird choice. I'm not a big fan of the fact that the blasting hands are fixed, so there is no swivel on them. So you are literally forced to pose them in the one position or with the closed fist, which is a little disappointing. We get the missile with this figure, but there is no way to use it. There's no way for it to stand on anything, and it's too big to fit in the rocket launcher, although the effects part does fit in nicely. So again, it's a nice figure. I do like him. I'm glad to add a updated War Machine to my collection. However, I do feel that Hasbro have almost cheaped out at certain stages. It feels like the figure should have had some extra hands or a way to interact with this rocket in some way. But there we have it. It's a nice enough figure. And the second figure in the set is a Mega Red, which is actually the first Mega Red I've ever had. So it's pretty cool to add him to the collection. He comes with a fist and sort of reaching hand, and the alternate hands are just the opposites of those. Oh, excuse me. He also comes with his signature tentacles, which will fit underneath here and should in theory just peg in. Yep, so they just sort of, I was expecting them to go deeper, but they just kind of hinge on that little bit of the peg there and then stick out. And we get essentially the two sizes with them, with the fully extended or the shorter tentacles, which all fit in the same way. That one fits in fully. Does that one fit in fully? Yeah, they fit in fully. Okay, it doesn't fit quite as well in this one. I'm presuming that I don't think that's been cleaned out as nicely as this one, so it is catching, and two, I don't think the hole's quite as deep. Yeah, so they certainly fit in better on this side of the arm rather than the other side. There we go, with a little forcing it will fit in, but even with it just pegging in by the tip, it's actually still quite sturdy. These are done in a very thin rubbery plastic, but there is no bendy wire in them or anything like that, which is a bit disappointing. So they are molded to the one length and pose essentially, which is disappointing. I would have certainly liked these more with a bendy wire in them, but I guess it is what it is. I like the fact that we do have the two lengths, so you can swap those out as you'd need to, like so. So you can have them at the various lengths depending on how you want to display and pose your figure. Let's take these out now for the actual looking at the figure. Figure is done. It's a really bulky figure and he looks really nice. The paint apps on it are done really nice. I love the gunmetal grey up here, and it's toned nicely, or the red is toned nicely over the top of it. Sort of bomb strapped to his chest. The harnesses are done in a rubbery plastic, so they're not going to hinder articulation too much. That face sculpt is fantastic. I absolutely love the face sculpt on this. The paint apps have been done really well. And the teeth look menacing along with those red eyes. That is a really cool looking face sculpt. Also, the ponytail on the back of the head is... So I think it's... Yep. It's literally just on a peg. So it can be pulled out if you wanted it to. Otherwise, it does allow for some movement and posability there. Head is on a ball joint, but because of that hair mold and the shoulder pads, it does sort of limit articulation a little, but you can get some nice downward look there. Sort of, you can get a fair bit of looking up. It's just that side to side you need to sort of faff about with a bit, but you can get it there. The arm is butterfly joint, so we can get the arms moving really well with some great articulation poses on those. Standard ball and hinge joints there, which is standard for Marvel Legends, as are the bicep. Double hinged elbow, pegless, but again the legs are pegged, so that's a weird choice by Hasbro's part. We get the peg and swivel on the wrists, as we do with the fists as well. So you can get those moving around as you need them. Torso's on a swivel and ab crunch. This one sticks out a little more when the chest, that does look a little weird, but it is helped or hidden with that belt a little bit better than some of the other figures like that. Leg forward that far, back that far, calf swivel, double pinned hinge at the knees, and then that standard foot swivel. So again, bar the pegs, pins on the legs, but not on the arms, this is a really well done figure. I really like him. I think it's a suitably menacing, bulky figure. Really glad to add an Omega Red to the collection, even though I've never really read much of him as a character. I think the most interaction I've had with this character is through his couple of appearances in the 92 animated series. But there we have our figure. I do really like him. I like those tentacles on the figure. I just wish they were done with a bendy wire instead. We'll get some decent poses with the figure here. So let's have, oops, there we go. So you can get one tentacle in. You can even sort of have him almost guiding the tentacle if you want to. And let's have the other one at a slightly shorter length. I think they're both different molded tentacles, so all four tentacles are differently molded, which is a nice touch. It would have been very easy to have done sort of 2 and 2 and just had them the same, but there we go. Really like this figure. Definitely think this is the better of the two figures. Not that War Machine's necessarily a bad figure, I just feel there's been some weird choices on Hasbro's part for the figure that could have led to a slightly better figure if they'd done some alternate choices. But there we have our figures. Can we, just before we finish, can we get this wrapped around our hero? There we go. Look at it. You can even get the tentacles wrapped around the heroes for some really great posing and display options. There we have the 2-pack. Overall, I think it's a really good 2-pack. It's worth the £50 price point. There's just been some weird choices on Hasbro's part, especially with some of the accessories. Other than that, it is a really great addition to the collection. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, stay safe. And remember, freedom is a right, not a privilege.